Let's go to Carlo in Vandergrift.
Carlo, what up, man?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Sure, go ahead.
I agree with Andrew that it should just be one period overtime. They make too much out of what they're doing with football in today's world. You know, football's supposed to be a simple game and enjoyable. And for us fans, they've made it unenjoyable.
How do you consider yesterday unenjoyable, Carlo? That was as good a game as
Saturday too, Bob?
All of those games.
I'm talking about it's unenjoyable when you have to wait 10 minutes for a call from upstairs.
I agree with that.
Well, I do too, but there's nothing going to do to change that. Once they went into that rabbit hole, they're not coming out of it. If anything, there's going to be more of it going on. But thanks for the call. Appreciate that. We got Olaf. This is the first Olaf, Andrew, I think we've ever had on the show in Turtle Creek. What's up, Olaf?
Olaf Kolzig.
Hey, how's it going? Great.
The goalie.
Thanks for having me. Hey, guys, you know, being from Europe, living in Pittsburgh for over 15 years, there's one thing I, look back at what World Soccer was doing in regards to eliminating golden goal rule, which was similar like what happened last night. So something NFL should consider something doing similar, like eliminating the golden goal rule, meaning the first touchdown will win the game.
Well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk about this. I suspect that the competition committee will bring it up. Normally stuff like this results. This is what happened. We saw taunting last year, Andrew, and yet it's been very inconsistently put into play. I've seen it sometimes, and I've seen it other times where it wasn't called, like yesterday or whatever. Yeah, yesterday when Tyreek Hill did that. So I think it's going to be debated.
Brady got hosed by it. He's bleeding, and he's trying to say something to the ref about it. And that look at me, everyone tunes into the game to watch me. Hockey's son gave him a 15-yard penalty for it, Bob. That was bogus. And usually Brady gets all the calls.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the taunting, if you're going to call it, call it. And what Tyreek Hill did is why this whole rule was put into place in the first time.
Correct.
And yet
I agree.
He gets away with it again. So, all right, I want to ask you about the end of the game real quick before we go back to calls. First of all, I don't know what Doug McDermott was doing. When you kicked the ball off there, we checked this out today because I wasn't sure of the rule. But if you want to make a fair catch, you can kick it high at the 10-yard line. The guy can make a fair catch if he doesn't want to use clock time. But then you pin him deeper, or you squib it, take seconds off the clock. They only had 13 seconds. There are only so many plays you can get off. They had a lot of timeouts, and they had the middle of the field, which I thought they did a bad job of defending. Why did it end like this for Buffalo? They had it right there, and it was simple decision-making, I thought, that they neglected.
The squib kick's the biggest one. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, you do that, and as long as it's executed properly and you ask your special teams to do that, they work on it all year long. That's a situation where the Chiefs really only have one play. Maybe the second play is a Hail Mary at best to try to win. And so, that was, I think, whatever reason Buffalo came up with, whether they didn't consider it or they passed on it, that's something that they're going to have to sit with and contemplate for decades to come. That still being said, I got to give Kansas City a lot of credit for one thing. They had those timeouts left.
Yeah.
That gave Mahomes the middle of the field. And I'm sorry, you give him with those receivers and Kelsey the entire field to work with, Bob. I mean, I can see them getting into field goal range in 2 plays. I think if they were playing the Steelers in that same situation, Kelsey probably would have just scored a touchdown based on what I saw them do against Pittsburgh in that playoff game. So,
well, you know what
what
I was thinking of at the time, and it just went through my head. I wasn't sure exactly about the give yourself up rule, but I thought once Kelsey was in the middle of the field and there were 4 seconds left, if I were a defensive player, I would have just done nothing and let him run a little bit more if he wanted to do it.
Why not hold him?
You could have done that too, take a penalty.
Why not hold him out of his break, have him call a 5-yard penalty in 2 or 3 seconds come off the clock?
They gave him so much room to begin with. I didn't understand it. You're right. You could take a penalty. You could kill time in so many ways, but they didn't do it. We got to go to a break here. We'll come back and try to get more calls in. You're watching the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here 7 nights a week.